This is Miss Lee. Today we will be learning how to round three-digit numbers to the nearest 10. Our first three-digit number is 143. If you were given this number yesterday when we were rounding to the nearest 100, your two benchmarks would be 100 and 200. Because your number 143 would be between 100 and 200. But today we're not rounding to the nearest 100, we're rounding to the nearest 10. Which means our benchmarks need to be even smaller. So can you think of a way that we can take 100 and 200 and break it up into tens? Or is there a way that you can skip count by tens from 100 to 200? On a number line, it will look something like this. You begin with 100, then you count up by tens. 110, 120, 130, 140, all the way up to 200. Between every tick mark, you'll notice that there is a space of 10. 10, 10, 10, 10. So where does my number 143 fall? Does it fall between 110 and 120? Will those be my two benchmarks? Does it fall between 150 and 160? Does it fall between 180 and 190? Well, when I read this number, it's 143, which means it has to be between 140 and 150. 140 will be my smaller 10, and 150 will be my next 10. Those two numbers will be my two benchmarks. Once you decide on your benchmarks, if you think back to yesterday's lesson and rounding two-digit numbers to the nearest 10, you need to create a number line with those two benchmarks. 140 is at the beginning of my number line, 150 is at the end of my number line. And then always I need to think about my halfway point. That makes it easier for me to think about where 143 goes. When I'm rounding to the nearest 10, I noticed a pattern before, which is that the ones digit is going to be a 5. If the beginning of my number line is 140, and my halfway point is a three-digit number with a ones digit of 5, then my number must be 145. 140, 145, 150. 143 is a smaller number than 145, so it needs to be to the left of 145, somewhere along where that pink dot is, which means my number 143 is going to round to the smaller 10, 140. The next three problems that you'll solve will give you the two benchmarks, and you will have to independently find the halfway point, put the pink dot where the number goes, and then round that number to the nearest 10.